Hello everyone, I'm Felix and welcome back to Satisfactory, a game where I have realised that this needs fixing. Mostly because I have a lot of factories that are just sitting here doing nothing, and now I've kind of fixed the power problem. I think that now is the time to start moving out some of the older facilities and bringing in new ones. So, there's some things that now need to be removed. The biomass generators did me well, but that is very, very much something that needs to go now. So, I have been playing Once Human today. And I've been looking at these Rosetta facilities and thinking how good they look and how much the hub area, the grasslands, would benefit from being turned into that sort of very big, very very big sort of facility type of thing. You know, we can have, and I'm mostly coming from this direction, and it kind of goes back to when I'm talking about how when you take a train through a facility, you want stuff next to the track or next to the roadway. If you've got a roadway passing through, you want stuff working all the time because it looks much more impressive than just having nothing. And I think I can do something similar here. Now, one of the main things that people will often do is, you know, they might just like say, well, I want to start on using the world grid. I can't do that because if I put it that way, well, this is my roadway in, so can't do that. I have to do it this way around. So we kind of line it up on. I like these sort of bits, these constructions up and down. I would quite like to keep them, if at all possible. Just kind of get a basic understanding of this may all need to change, which is fine. I recently realised at Mega Factory 1 that the roofs were offset, which offset a whole load of the building. So I've got to fix that at some point. That's really not going to be fun because that's where my electronics factory is currently. But yeah, so I'm thinking something like this. So the way that I'm starting this is just these foundations are quite literally just a block out. To get a bit of an idea of what this sort of thing might look like, I don't have anything written down. I don't have plans, as I have picked up something that somebody said in the presidential debate. I have concepts of a plan, but I don't really have a real idea of what I'm doing here. I'm just sort of getting a bit of a shape of what this place may look like. So I'm thinking it can kind of come up a bit here. Kind of generating a little bit more of a vibe of some sort of construction. Maybe actually, let's bring it in a bit. Let's bring it in a little bit over here. Make it too wide. And the reason why I'm thinking too wide is because then I can do one of these gates like this. And then that can go that way a bit. So as we come up in our Explorer, which is, where is my Explorer? That's a good question. So I'm currently down here. My Explorer is, apparently I've walked all this way. I was doing some exploration here, so that's not too much of a surprise. Do I just have a vehicle that can go in here? The answer is yes. I might even have... Oh, I may have just accidentally moved it, but I've probably got some fuel on me. There you go. Right. Yeah. Right, so that needs to be another one. Tool. Where were my gates? There he goes. Right. And then we'd have our walls up like that. Just back off a bit, because, yep. Right, so we come up here. Some of the animations, I've noticed some of the animations can be a little strange. It's fine, it's fine. Let's just remove, no. Remove these bits. Remove that one and that one. That probably cut the power to further down the line. Oh, there we go. Right. Right. So we come in here, and then I'm thinking we continue on down here a little bit further. And then maybe have another couple of gates like that. Hop up here. I probably should be in my other jetpack. And then gate. Where did that build it? Hold on. There. God's sake. Right. Okay. So gate comes through here and clear that out. Now can obviously have some walls along here. I think that one I would actually like to have it as a doorway up. So this is my entrance, and I could have some catwalk stairs to go. Let's put the wall in first. Let's put the I'm thinking that one, so it hugs this wall. And then maybe catwalk out. Could even do it like that. Something like that. So then I've got the ability to have this go over this way. And in theory, then have a little bit of a catwalk over the top as well. That looks good. Now, next thing I should do is put on my proper jetpack so I can do this. Customization. Materials. So I unlocked the grip metal foundation, which might be quite good for these bits up here. And I don't use it enough, and I probably should use it maybe a little bit more. The industrial railing. Especially for if I just need sort of single blocks over the top. That looks, yeah, that looks good actually. Might want something to break this up a bit. And that's going to be too low, but if I do that Animation's being very weird. And then over the top here, that should be alright. Now the wings. So oh yes, and then just get some concrete in here, I think. That looks pretty good. So we go in here, run through here. Something that I can do, I unlocked glass frame foundations. Wonder how well they would look. So I'm thinking like skylight. And then, I mean, if we're gonna do that as a roof, probably just do it as in roof sections. That looks pretty good, I think. And then it would just be a case of sealing this bit in. Either side. Okay, we've got a good sort of first start, I think. The colour choice may need to change. But for the moment, just concrete it all. By colour choice, I mean along these sort of railings, because I can change the colour of the railings. And I do have different finishes I can use. The floor, asphalt, that's a bit of a no-brainer, I think. Apart from this section, which can probably be the grip along the side there. I think that looks quite good. And then that. Okay. So we've got our sort of airlock bit set up. Now, next up, I need to replace the biofuel area, and that will be done here. And so the purpose of this was literally, if I have a whole bunch of biofuel that I need to turn into, you know, biofuel, it's a nice easy fuel source if it's just, you know, I need to run a vehicle to somewhere or whatever. So that's the purpose of having this little contraption. Just turn it into biomass manually and then flip it over, and I don't need much storage space because there's never really much going on with this. And it just needs just to make that into solid biofuel. And yeah, and then that just gets hooked up to a power line for the moment. All these will go because generally I find when you put power cables through stuff like that, it just looks weird. We do have the pass-throughs already, so why not use them? But yeah, so that's this bit, and I can just finish it off with a little bit of grip metal. Now, the fun part. So this factory needs to move. And by move, I mean probably go. I may be able to integrate it into this area. In that case, I think I'm going to take out these roof pieces, because I feel like the roof pieces are like the final sort of stage. And while you can sort of mix them in a bit, it just kind of looks a bit weird. I will, however, keep the skylights, because I think that even if they're not skylights, even if we've got a factory or something up here, it does look kind of cool to have, you know, that sort of the light coming through, and I would have light coming all the way down. In fact, I'm going to kind of do that now. Plus, is this? Yeah, it's an even. Yeah. Normally I would do it odd, and the reason why I've been doing things in an odd number as opposed to an even one is Minecraft. It's yeah, it is just purely, I got used to doing that in Minecraft, and so when games allow you to do stuff in sort of different sort of shapes, I get a bit confused. And yeah, and the full frame windows, which I do like these, even if I do keep flying into them by accident. In my defense, they are very they are very clear. But yeah, I think that should look actually quite good from the front, kind of taking a bit of inspiration from sort of more military style building. And oh yeah, the think we could probably do with I'm trying to find my colours here, maybe sort of a slightly darker swatch on the top rather than changing that. And also thinking about, oh god, that one needs to be changed into a glass roof. And also, do we want to keep it like this? Probably not. Let's have it in. Actually, why isn't that a glass roof? Should be a glass roof all the way along. There we go. And yeah, let's have it the tar top, because I think that looks quite good. Yeah, still not entirely happy with these bits, but I think for the moment it will do. The last little bit that needs to be done down here, bringing these foundations out a bit maybe. Or railings would be my other option. I've used railings a bit. Get rid of the old one. The modern railing does look quite good. That does look quite imposing. I think it does need sort of wings coming out here, maybe even just filling in the space completely. Let's have a look. Great thing about this game is that you can just say, you know what, I'm just going to have a look to see what does it look like if it just fills that entire space. I feel like it looks flat, a little bit too flat. Maybe bring it in here. Let's go away and have a look at it. That does look better, and what I'm thinking is, we can then make this look a little less flat by adding in catwalks. In fact, as we're going to be putting in catwalks, let's use the good stuff. The reason why I don't often use the walkways is, well, it's just simply because there's no stairs for the walkways, and I don't really know why, but yeah, if you just kind of want something a little bit more like that, and then also concrete. That looks pretty foreboding. And what I could do is add these down here, and missed. No, God, for goodness sake. These all that. So I've been doing this where we have these little bits which are metal. It helps just make it look a little bit like it's built on something. And then kind of just do the same down here. Where stuff may need to be filling out a little bit more. Sort of push it into the rock a little bit. But, that looks good. I feel like it needs something up here, just to help give it a little bit more depth, or maybe even like a roof might work. Maybe like a shallow roof. Just to make it look a little bit less just flat. It's an awful lot of just trying to make it look less sort of just placed, I guess. That looks better. I especially like the fact that we've kind of got this little lip over here. Just adds a bit more 3D space to it. So I'm going to do the same over here as well. I think the more pitched one would be a little bit too pitched. Yeah, I think that looks good for the moment. And I can go back there and paint it up. Now, this factory is needed to make this stuff. However, we're not making a huge amount of it, mostly because it's all being put into here. So, right. And this will probably be a tier 1, yes. I mean, the first thing I'm going to do is tear this out, rotate it around, and put it into that gap there. I mean, I've got that gap. I may as well use it for something. So this will be the new, for the first of the new factories. I could do that, and I probably will. So all this will be moved and sort of installed into a new area. I feel like with this game you can't be afraid, almost, just to change things. So, yes. This may be a short one today. I don't know. Probably be back tomorrow though. So yeah, let's get this in. Yeah, might make this a shorter stream today, because then I can kind of go away and build out this bit a little bit more. And once I know kind of what's exactly is going on, it might just make it a little easier. Get rid of that. And get this space ready. So this stuff will be going in there. Is this going to be wide enough? sort of. So we would start off with putting in where is it going to go. So we're going to have a whole bunch of concrete going into these containers, these 3 containers. The catwalk, as a result, is going to have to go maybe up a bit. This is where I might have to use the ramp. Catwalk ramp. Here we go. Right. So let's get a straight walkway here. So that's going to clip with that. But I could bring that up a bit. I could actually use the correct ramp. That would be that's a wild idea. There we go. That looks alright. Reason being, so obviously the wall will have to go in, because I need to cover up all of this this bit here. So even though the wall comes out a little bit further than this, the factory can't be that large. There's still going to be a little bit of clipping here, unfortunately, but I can't. Well, I can do something about that, and it's basically just sort of adapt the size of the factory to meet the demands. Kind of like how so I would just basically sort of turn it into a bit of a feature of this wall just kind of comes in like this now. And I may as well just do that now. So in fact, what I could do is, problem is I would still be able to see it, I think. I'd kind of know it was there. I could stick it through there, but no, let's do it this, actually. You know what? I can still put it through here. No, because that kind of comes in that way, and I might need to just accept I'm going to be losing a little bit of space here. And in that case, I mean, do I need that one? So now what I'm thinking is, well, if I'm going to be pulling out the resources from here, and it's going to narrow it down anyway, do I actually need this one at all? The answer is no, I don't. Which means I can have a much more sensible sort of ramp down. Like that. And I could probably do a little walkway around there or something later, but for now, let's just get our first constructor in, second constructor in, concrete those two. And then we're going to put in a miner Mark II. Put it in these walls. Right. We will have some windows here. Do have some. I've got these triple frame windows which might look quite good. Yeah, I think they look. They add a little bit of bit more detail to those windows, which is good. And then it will just be a case of power. Shove a power outlet there. shove a double wall here so I can hook it up to the grid, and add a door in here, but one that kind of goes in that way. Actually, you know what? I could do something here. I could have a third one. I'd like to have a third one if at all possible. So actually that would fit in. Just about. Because then I can have the splitter in here. Conveyor splitter. Right. So that will go in there. That will go in there. And that's now producing quite a little bit of that, and then it will just be a case of, well, how does it get out again? It's a good question. I would probably put it up this way, something along these lines, and then we can work that one out in a bit. But yeah, that's that should just then hide that factory away, meaning that this one can actually now go. Being a little bit careful not to. So part of the problem with, well, there's a whole bunch of issues with this. That's not going to go well if I do that, because there's a whole bunch of stuff in those containers. So the grasslands has got quite messy, pretty much. That's kind of the reason why I'm planning on doing all this sorts of modifications. When I come back here, I need to do quite a lot of driving around to get where I need to go. The hub is currently on top of the iron production, which is fine. It's just that in order to get there at the moment, I need to come up here, I need to drive all the way around here, around there, and then even then it's not just driving up to the hub, which is kind of what I would like to have ultimately. These will just have to float for just a minute while I rework how all this is going to go. For the moment, I'm just going to use this area here as my dumping ground. That's now cut the power, so I may have cut something that I shouldn't have. It's fine. So I'm just going to use this anyway, and I'm going to need like 3 stacks of these containers. And some fast belts. That way I can just get these emptied reasonably quickly. I can also theoretically double the speed of these things by doing that. So yeah, just get it out of those containers, and that'll be cleared up quite nicely. And then and then it's just going to be a case of building out this way. Actually, that's accidentally beautifully placed there, so I can get these out. So it's just a case of, yeah, so the whole idea is that slowly these various buildings would get amalgamated into a much larger construction that is just going to, I think, just look a little tidier. And yeah, and certainly the space elevator will need to move, but in doing so, what I can do is I can build it, I can better integrate it in with the train systems, have it maybe a little bit further up here a bit, over here maybe, with a proper, you know, I don't know, 3 or 4 track railway. Something else I was sort of inspired by playing Once Human is, you know, some of the Rosetta facilities have these, like, it says train door on it. I was like, yeah, you could have like a proper sort of train area. The weird thing about the train door, though, is that occasionally you can find it on just normal roadways, which is a bit weird. But yeah, train door kind of, you know, there is something that's sort of very big and train sort of loading related back here. That's kind of what I kind of feel when seeing the train door. So yes, it's quite a lot of stuff that can actually just start coming down anyway, because I don't need this this one anymore, because that was for something else. This one, I think I am still using that one at the moment, so that one will stay for as long as possible. The other facility that does need to basically be reworked slightly is up here. So it's this one. The only slight change I'm going to be making to these systems now is to actually add an awesome sink. There's quite a lot of resources here that are just not going anywhere. And they could be going into the awesome sink, and they're not at the moment. So things like the rotors, for example. We can put a conveyor splitter on there. That will basically mean that at least it's still running, but it's also all of it is using tier 2 belts, which is also not ideal. But yeah, just having that ability to sync stuff and upgrade some of these power poles. So yeah, this bit needs to be upgraded as well. There's a whole bunch of it that just everything sort of needs work. Conveyor merger, conveyor splitter. Because everything in the grasslands was basically built using mostly tier 2 tech. So that will just allow me to make more tickets so that I can buy more stuff in the shop. Though there's not a huge amount of stuff left to buy in the shop that I need. An awful lot of it is more sort of the trophies and all that sort of thing. The Cybertruck, which I would probably buy, the Cyber Wagon, sorry, which can be bought and then thrown away somewhere. Avoided, perhaps. But, 100 tickets will get you a hard drive. Oh, I didn't see that one before. Oh, that is worth it, considering that an awful lot of hard drives that I'm sort of, I can't get to them yet, because one thing or another, basically, an awful lot of the things need components that I either don't have access to yet, or I'm using for other things, and I don't want to waste them on that sort of stuff. So yes, there's that. Right, this is making the adaptive control unit, these assembly director things very slowly. So yes, right. Is this stuff done yet? Because if so, I can start moving the... This one is, I think. That one's done. This stuff will probably all be synced, I imagine, eventually. But I just want to get this lot out. In fact, let's just double the output of this one as well. It's crude, but it does the job. Right. Thing is, I don't know what's next. I think that we need a little bit of a an entranceway here. And I think that would be fine for that. And yeah, so just kind of go along there, and it will just hide the mining machine. So this sort of opens out a little bit now. And certainly, if I can get the factory cart, I can just have, you know, a little factory cart lying around or something along those lines. It's fine. Yeah, I think the next bit will be to do these bits. So grit metal down this side and down this side, and then asphalt. I think that I'm going to need some, let's have a look, pattern, these. Just add a bit of flair to these bits, sort of bring that along there. And I can also put them down there as well. Okay. This side's probably not going to have a factory of any sort, just because it is too tight. So as a result, I can just basically roof this one off so it doesn't look weird. More so that it doesn't look weird if I have something overlooking this. You know, just be a case of, well, why is that random bit there? And sort of blocking off nature a little here. And yeah, that will probably have some roofing this way as well. Excellent. I think that looks all right. It looks very flat, but can probably do something about that later. Okay, that just needs to be there. And oh yes, and then we can also stretch this bit down here. Right, I think I'm kind of stuck now for... I need to wait for that to finish before I can extend this. So this, I think, will be sort of the main throughway. And then there will be bits that sort of come off here. So we have our grip there, and then there'll be asphalt down there, and I'll also have to blow up these. That's something you can do. If you need to get rid of these things, you can just blow them up, and that will then get rid of the gas clouds, which is rather useful. So yeah, so you don't then have to worry about the gas clouds anymore, which is good. Right, maybe this needs to be a little bit more like a helicopter pad almost. You know, this is meant to be this should be a big thing. The hub. And so I've kind of got to work out how I want to do it. Probably by... I think this is actually built on the world grid, which is why it's at an angle that's weird. I think the entire thing needs to be twisted around, put on this grid. There'll be a little bit of an area where there'll be no hard shoulder down here because of how this works. This is why I build down here, because it gives you a little bit of a challenge. You know, you can just build in the sky, and I know that there are people who do, but if you do that, you kind of remove yourself from the challenge of actually building in this world, which can be quite interesting if you don't just want to just be the most efficient thing. If you want to actually just build stuff, it can be quite interesting to just literally just work with the terrain that you've got. That was what I wanted. So that's the grip, that's the asphalt. Asphalt goes down here, and you know we can do stuff with this. So it's a concrete foundation. Can I add an arrow? I can't add an arrow to the wall. Add a number to the wall. No. Seems that's only for floors, right? Yeah, that's only for floors. That's fine. I mean, something fun you can do with that is you can have 0, 2. So you can have, you know, on the floor, sort of, maybe this is factory number 2 or something, quite like that. And we can also, because we can't do an arrow on the wall, what we can do is a sign on the wall, either a small square sign. A small square sign looks very small. Square sign, not so small. Yeah, that looks good. And then just put in That looks like that's way too... No, no. It's a perspective thing. There we go. And yeah, so that just goes there. Anyway, I think for now I'm going to end. I'm kind of waiting for that to finish, so before I sort of, well, you know, sort of shroud, before I can shroud this in and get the walls up properly. And yes, but a lot of things, interesting things to do. I'm kind of thinking about just kind of upgrading the stuff that I've got, while the factories that the factories that I have are just kind of chugging away at making stuff. Though they're not making stuff very quickly, and I'm probably going to have to go and check on some of them at some point. Which is another reason to kind of get this side of the factory ticking over, so I can just sort of leave it for long periods of time. Currently it's not in a particularly good state for that. Maybe this is a little bit more like your car park area. I did a car park sort of thing down at the sort of these islands, where I kind of thought, oh, this will be a nice place for a little like an inn or something. So any visitors to this world, you know, they would go to the little inn in the sort of the paradise sort of islands, and not bother themselves with what exactly was going on elsewhere in the on this planet. You know, just ignore the oil extractors, kind of thing. But yes, I think for now that'll be fine. So I think having it like this, and then what did I do? Oh yeah, it was using. I think it was using the sidelines. So you can do like that. It's perfect for like your explorers. You know, you can get an explorer in that space. Nothing bigger than that, but I don't think. You'd have to park. Oh, actually, maybe it is wide enough. Yep, there we go. Perfect. That's kind of how people park around here anyway, with their back end sticking out. Well, actually, no, the way that some of them park is like that. You know, they'll just kind of go pretty much sideways in, you know, horizontal, you know, like that, diagonally into the space, and stand back and think, yeah, I did a good job there. But can't complain. Right, so that's good. I've got parking spaces for my trucks and various other sort of things. If I'm not using a tractor anymore, I could just bring it down there. And then, yeah, so this will also allow me to get some power up, but without leaving all these power poles everywhere. Power poles are fine to start with, but wall outlets are so much better. Even if you're just using basic wall outlets to run cabling. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure where all the power cables go at the moment, so it's just a case of, yeah, using the poles for the moment, but the poles will need to come out eventually. The other thing that could be kind of experimented with is using streetlights. Kind of maybe sort of there. And that will kind of be dependent, I think, on how high the ceiling ends up being. The other thing you can probably do is like the wall-mounted lights. which you can change the angle of them. Just hook that up to that. Obviously you can't change them after they've been placed, but yeah, that's the sort of thing that you could do something with. If I was to actually do it properly, it'd be something like that, sort of lined up on these. That could look very cool for lighting. Certainly the use of skylights, so just let the natural light in, and then hook these up onto light control panels if they want to not be invisible. Yay! You can change things like, hold on, let me just, yeah. Let's hook that one up to there, and then that one up to there for now. So you can then, you can then select it to night mode. You can also change the color of these things, of anything that these are hooked up to. Change the intensity of it. Like bring the intensity down. Oh, it doesn't seem to do it. Can do it with, maybe that one you can't do it with, but these ones you can. Turn off night mode. Oh, maybe it was because I had night mode on. That might be why. There we go. So you can then change the intensity of the beam as well. Lower it down. Have it full pelt. Change the color of them. These things are quite nice. If you need to sort of fiddle around with your lighting, and then stick it onto night mode so it's off when it's daytime. You don't need them on. But yeah, it's there's a few things to kind of deal with now, I think. Namely, these are now empty, so we can get rid of these. But yeah, I need to go away and I need to kind of think about how I want to continue on with where all this stuff is going. I'm thinking that these storage containers can be sort of better integrated into the side here. I kept on having these ideas for like these sort of bay type things, so it kind of look a little bit like that. And then it would sort of go in here. And then have some sort of a label sign like there, just saying what was in each thing. That might work, especially if I then have it here. And then funnel these back into here. That looks pretty good, actually, I think. So this would just be, you know, hey, you know, I've just got what's it, concrete? So I've just got concrete in these things. That might work. I don't know what's in the rest of these. These were left over from where I was going to have storage here. Yeah, so we've got rods, we've got bolts, and we've got plates in here. So all of this will probably need to be moved and integrated properly into some sort of storage bays, which I can access if I need to. In fact, I'm probably just going to go and do that. And I think we can probably come out to about there with these storage bays. These could also actually be higher as well, and I think that's, yeah, I think having them higher rather than having them spread out is probably the way to go. And then I can just do that. And then I can hook those up with distribution conveyor lifts down, so that it distributes everything down. So if I need to actually pull anything out of here, it's all going to just filter down from the top. Basically like a silo. You know, these should be storage silos. And I've just realised that these are putting into the wrong one. If I want it to be going into that one, and then it needs to actually be going into here and here. It's fine, I can move these. Actually, I can just move these manually. And then I've kind of got storage silo set up on these ones. Excellent. And that just starts getting rid of just a little bit more concrete that I don't need. Let's turn this into a much better space. So anyway, I think, yeah, I'm going to end this here for now. So, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.